Hello, hello, lovely people. Um, how are we all doing? Let me see. The meeting is being recorded, as you guys know, so that we can put it in, we can share it. How are we all doing? Kind of give me an energy check level. Just pop it in chat. Give me an idea on energy levels today. Because weather's been quite miserable, but it's still feeling kind of good energy.
Um,
Begin the turn, yeah, feeling good. Love that. Exhausted, Toby. Exhausted. Come on, give us the energy check. Five, feeling great. Just a little bit. Yeah, I get that. I
bit
get that.
wide.
Feeling, yeah, feeling good. I am loving it. Remy, where's your energy at today? You're always at like a 8 or 9. You're always high energied. Yeah.
Do you think so?
I love it. Yeah, it's good.
My energy is at a 10.
See?
Yeah.
Told you. Yay! Told you. It's good to see all of you guys feeling good. Could do it. Right, Tara, listen. Well, it's like September, October came and the weather got the memo that we're going straight to winter. We are not playing with you. We're not going to give you any respites. That weather has been really miserable over the last couple of days. But it's good to see so many of you guys. Thank you for being here. Obviously, thank you if any of you guys attended any of the sessions last week at the festival. Thank you for that as well. But today we are feeling energized. Love that, Latoya. I am loving that. Send some of that energy my way. I'm at 8, I would say. At 8, peaking, 8.5, trying to get myself to a 9, 10 today, trying to still recover from last week. But thank you for being here. Today we're looking at niche and superpower, which is a really interesting. I always find it's an interesting conversation because there's always a tendency, particularly in the downturn or moments like this, to make sure that you've got loads of skills. You don't want to kind of miss out on any opportunity. So you tell everybody that you can do everything. But by the end of the session, you'll hear how there's a real power in kind of drilling down into your niche. So I don't want to waste any more time. Mr. Remy, how are you doing, sir? You're with your energy levels at 10. How are you? And shall we get into superpowers and niche?
Let's get into this. So, what I thought we might do is talk a little about each of these. So, first of all, I want to talk about your niche because your niche is almost easier to talk about than your superpower. And also it's easier to define your superpower once we define your niche. So we're gonna do niche first. And what I thought we might do is talk a little about it. I'd love to know your reactions, your thoughts, your feelings about it after I've had whatever I have to say about it. And then I'd like to workshop your niche so that everyone comes away with this from this kind of clear about what I mean and what their niche is for each of you. And to do that, I think we'll go into pairs. So Lily, get ready for pairing off because what I'd like to do is pair everyone off so that you can really workshop on your niche in pairs. One weird thing at the moment, I'm just seeing Simone in the screen, and I don't know if that's my fault or whether that's because the person.
Let me change the view and do. Is that what are you seeing now?
I'm
Everybody.
still seeing you, but I'm speaking, so I'm not quite sure. It's probably
No,
my
then
fault.
you need to go to your settings,
Yeah,
where it says view, and go and set it to speakers view. Um,
yeah.
I,
My computer crashed, and I'm on someone else's computer, and that isn't helping. But let me see if I can.
yeah, if you put it onto speakers view, I will. Then you should get whoever's speaking. Lee, is there something that you can do your side?
Mm, I've just tried. I've changed the view. Is that better?
Now there's no one in my view. That's weird. It's saying view grid now. Um, give me a.
It's dipping in and out for you. Is it, Serena? I don't know whether because you know when it rains, the.
Do you know what? Sorry, I shouldn't have said dipping in and out. It just sounds a little bit distant. That's all. Someone needs to
Okay,
turn it up.
thank you, sis. How you do? You good?
I'm here.
No, man. If you're here, then you're good. Because
Yes, that's
where there's
right.
hope, there's life, right?
That's right.
There's life, my sister. There's hope, there's life. Remy, how we do? Oh, Remy's disappeared.
Yeah, I think I fixed it now. I think I fixed it
Wonderful.
now.
But we can see like you've
Can you?
got lots of headroom. Yeah, it needs to
Yeah.
bring it down. Wonderful. Yeah. Sorry about see technical. We're
Okay.
live. Oh, went for a run. Go on, Andrea. Go, go, go. Go, girl. Love that. Go for it.
Um,
All right, Remy, over to you. We've lost you. We're not seeing
yeah,
you.
give me a
Yeah,
second.
we can see you now. There you go.
You can see me?
Yes, we can indeed. We can't now.
Give me a second. Henrik.
Simone,
Yes, please.
while we're waiting for Remy just to sort his tech out, can I just say a huge congratulations on the festival. Really, a round of applause to you and to Lily, who so magnificently organised all of that. The tech, just the tech involved, the meeting rooms, all the stuff that was going on. It was just a revelation and brilliantly done. But the talent that you had and the content was fantastic. And I haven't managed to catch up with everything yet. I did come to quite a few of them. But everything I'm seeing is really interesting, really fun, really positive, and yeah, big up.
Michelle, thank you so much for saying that. I really appreciate that. All of the sessions are now on the online platform, so you can go and you can have a look and watch them at your leisure. And we also launched our content fund, and Rajesh, who is one of our leaders,
Please, I want it.
one of our leaders from last year or the year before, won £5,000. So, and we're going to give every month we're giving away £500. The next prize giveaway is on the 25th. I think Lily will correct me if I'm wrong, but the next prize giveaway we're giving away is on the 25th of October. Yeah, so please get involved. And we've got a few more things that we're going to announce before this side of the year. Oh, and that reminds me, leaders, we're doing leaders. I've got to go and get some money for leaders 25. So I may be reaching out to a few of you just to ask for some endorsements or some information or anything like that. Yeah, so yeah, if anyone who can feels they can help or contribute in that way would be wonderful. But thank you so much. I really appreciate the big up. Remy, how are we doing, sir? You're on mute now and disappeared. Yep, there you are. Wonderful.
Okay, I am back.
Yeah.
I am back. I am back. The miracles of modern science. So a lot of people have got their cameras switched off, and it would be nice to see as many of you as possible. Otherwise, it does kind of feel like an empty room. Is there any reason why people can't be seen?
Shared a file in the meeting. What file did you share in the meeting?
Great.
Don't lose yourself. You're not lost. You're here. Right. See it right there. Love
Great.
that. Thank you, Isaac.
So, what is a specialty niche? A specialty niche is me telling the world that I know what I do best, right? It's about saying I understand my contribution. I know what my specialty is. And the truth is, the world we live in is very focused on solutions. So if I tell you what problems I can solve, then if you have that problem, you want me, right? So silly example, but like my hot point gas boiler is broken, then I want someone who says, I fix hot point gas boilers. And what a lot of us do is we say, I love the world of the kitchen. I love kitchen appliances. I love working with appliances. But none of that actually tells me whether you can fix my hot point gas boiler. And the truth is, if you're really great at fixing hot point gas boilers, and I know nobody on this call is that, but like if that was a thing you were great at doing, then sharing with the world that I am great at fixing hot point gas boilers. It's what I love. I've done it a million times before. It's a really helpful way to get work. And telling the world what you love doing and do best, and hopefully there's a connection between what you do best and love most. There isn't always, but we can explore that separately. But telling the world what you do best and love most allows people to find you. It allows people to hire you, allows people to, if they're looking for someone who's great at working with at-risk contributors in stressful situations, if you say, I'm great at working with at-risk contributors in high-stress situations, if that's what I'm looking for, I'll find you. And if you just say, I'm great with contributors, it doesn't tell me that. So Simone made a really important point at the front of this, saying, when times are challenging, saying, I'm great at fixing hot point gas boilers feels scary, because what if you don't have a hot point gas boiler? Then you won't give me any work. But the thing is, you won't get any work anyway if you just say, I love fixing kitchen appliances, because people don't think of themselves as having kitchen appliances. They have They have a boiler, they have a washing machine, they have a dishwasher, whatever they have, and you need to be able to say you fix it. So in the world of TV, it really helps to say to everyone what you do best. And look, I've faced this twice in my career, right? When I founded my first production company, I thought I could make any programs for anyone, right? I loved watching TV. I can make anything. If you want big Saturday night entertainment shows, I can make that. If you want documentaries about artists, I can make that. Whatever you want, I can make it. But the market didn't respond because they want experts. They want specialists. And that was true 20 years ago. It's super true now. The market wants people who know what they do best and can deliver on that. So eventually we figured, we were a young, diverse company in Brixton. We made programs about what interested us. We made programs for us about us. We made programs about the edges of society. We made programs about Asian culture, Black music, gay culture. We made programs that were about the people who we worked with and who we were at that time. It feels even strange for me to be saying we made programs about young people, but we were young then. So we made programs that we wanted to watch about us. And no commissioning editor could say we weren't expert in that, because that's who we were. We were expert in the programs we were pitching because we were those people, and we were the viewer and we were the subject. And so we had authority, whereas we would have had no authority saying we're pitching Saturday night entertainment shows or documentaries about nature. We hadn't made any of that kind of stuff before. So creating a niche that defines who you are in a way that is useful for the market is really, really important. And I had to do it all over again when I became a coach, because when you get trained to be a coach, those of you who've done coach training will know this, you get trained to coach people. So I came out of coach training ready to coach human beings. But if you put a thing on LinkedIn saying I coach human beings, no one comes. No one comes because, yeah, they're a human being, but you're not an expert in me. We all feel that we want someone who can serve our special needs. So I refined my niche, right? And I said, look, I'm going to really, really narrow my niche. And I'm going to say, I coach creative leaders. That rules out 95% of the world. Quite a narrow niche. Not narrow enough, because people don't think of themselves as creative leaders. They think of themselves as producers, directors, executive producers, folk in media. So now I coach founders and leaders in media. And that feels like it's about niche enough for the market, because now when people come to me, they feel like, oh, he gets me. He understands where I'm coming from. He knows my pain. He's been on my journey. And just between you and me, I could really coach anyone who's human being, because that's what I was trained to do. And the things that bond us, the things we have in common, 99%. And the things that separate us, because I'm a TV producer and you're a ballet dancer and you're a pop star, it's tiny, tiny. The things which we struggle with as humans are the things which I'm trained to coach people in. So I could coach human beings, but I don't. I don't say that because it doesn't connect with the market. What the market is based on individual people out there searching for something. I'm searching for somebody who can work with wildlife. I'm searching for someone who can navigate the needs of multiple stakeholders. I'm looking for someone right now who can speak French and Turkish. So when you say exactly what you do and love most, it connects with the market. And that's what this first part of the work that I want to do with you is about. It's about figuring out what you do best and love most. And I've got 3 simple questions, which I'd like all of you to kind of just jot down and work on together. First of all, as a group, and then individually. So first of all, I would like you to ask yourself, what are the projects that when I've been working on them, I've loved them the most? What are the projects that when I've been working on them, I've loved them the most? Time's gone quickly. I felt most immersed. I felt most excited. I felt most proud of what I'm doing. Maybe a whole bunch of things around why you loved it, but there's no question that these were my favorite projects. Just list down the projects that when you were doing it, you loved it the most. It might be 1 project, it might be 2 projects, it might be 3 projects.
Bless me.
Just write down the title of the project in the first place. So you hopefully have 3 projects. If there's more, that's fine. Now, if you can, just write a little about those projects in a broader sense. So maybe someone work with me just to help everyone understand what I'm talking about. So anyone who has written down a couple of projects, just wave your hand around and I'll see you, and or just speak up and tell me what the project is. Don't all speak at once. Remember, I'm legally. Oh, okay. I see.
Sam,
Oh,
oh, you got somebody because Sam shouted as well. She was
okay.
like,
Sam, go ahead. Sam. Yeah.
you're mute, love.
Sorry. So one of the projects I really loved was my first ever proper one, and for Screen Yorkshire Beyond Brontes, because I took that program from inception to delivery, and that was brilliant. I loved every minute of that. Didn't so much like working for the company, but enjoyed putting stuff together.
What was the title of it, Sam?
It was called Beyond Brontes.
Beyond Brontes, as in the Bronte sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So write down next to that project what it was about the project that you loved.
Do you want me to say it out?
Yeah. Tell us now, and then will help us to understand what I mean by this. So write down what about that you loved it. We get that. I get it in your face and your voice. What was it about it you loved?
It allowed me to exercise my creative mind in terms of all of the things I was doing in community. I was able to do on a corporate level and test out my thinking. Like all the things I felt that needed to be fixed, I was able to just execute them and prove a lot of people wrong. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So if you had to define that as a thing, is it about using your understanding of community to shape programming? Is it taking your help us understand that in a slightly more granular way, right? Like, what was the thing?
It allowed me to use my understanding of grassroots and being on the ground and listening to people and understanding what the issues were and implementing them.
So this is beautiful. So this is the thing that I want you to write down. Grassroots, listening to people, making programs about that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the thing. That's the takeaway. Great. Someone else with another program that you put down, just tell us the program and then we'll look at what the thing is that you should write down from it. Wave your hands around and I'll be able to see you. Go for it with Daryl.
Hi, yeah. Mine's it's actually a podcast that I sort of developed at Fremantle about 5 years ago, and it was an idea that I had, internal competition that I pitched in, and then I was assigned to sort of colleagues to work with, and then we sort of created this idea called This Is Spoke, and we got funding from Fremantle, Penguin, and BMG, and then we kind of tried to, or we did create a podcast series that was essentially trying to look at youth culture, but also like a diverse youth culture, and then bring in the arts and creativity. And yeah, it's something that I look back on fondly. The things that popped into my head straight away were like my vision or our shared vision. We sort of had the reins, the ability to sort of like have an idea, and we got support to sort of see that through. It was
so write down creating a shared vision, or finding the shared vision and creating it. But there's something else about the subject that interested you and that excited you. What was that? Talk about
that. It was, and creating it was basically using, I think it was like using creativity and my development experience for ideas and the funness of doing that, but it was for something bigger than just the idea. We were talking about race, gender, sexuality, politics, you know, all through a lens of sort of like young people, and giving young people a space, a platform to speak freely and safely. And there was something about that.
Write that down. Write that down. Giving young people a space to create, to create and speak freely, or however you want to put it. But there's definitely something about space and young people creating it, giving a voice. And then there was something else around that in and the other groups that you were talking about. So it's not just young people, but it's also diverse voices, underrepresented voices.
Yeah, for me, it was like that we built like a community, like the people that are working on it. Like, you know, I was able to sort of like, well, me and my colleagues, we were able to hire the people we wanted to work with. So we had really amazing people, but like we sort of, it was a very diverse, it was very brown, black and brown sort of a group of people, but not exclusively so. And there was something powerful about that, just being in a room, especially within a big company like Fremantle. But then you're in this room, you're creating this project, and there's an energy, and there's something special about that. But I think ultimately it was having community and like people you trust and shared. I think that was quite powerful. That I feel being a freelancer, I don't get anymore.
I get that, and there's something in that about kind of creating a community from multiple stakeholders, creating a platform from multiple stakeholders, creating content from multiple voices, as well as giving diverse and young people a platform. So all of those are things you could write down from that one project. And all of those things are things which, well, why you loved it. You wrote it down because you loved it, but you loved it because of those things. So so that's what I want you all to do with the titles that you've written down. Figure out the thing underneath that was why you wrote it. Why did you love it? You love it because of what it stood for, because what it helped you do, because of what it brought out in you, because of something that not everyone can do. And so the other thing is, you know, don't think that just because you loved it, it's easy. It was easy for you because you're good at it, but it's not easy for everyone to do that. So the things that you love are often the things which other people need the most and find most challenging. So don't discount it just because you loved it. In fact, kind of the opposite. So the second thing I want you to do, very, very different. I want you to imagine a project or job opportunity. Like, I appreciate everyone is a different place in the industry. So some of you may be pitching projects and some of you may be applying for jobs, but imagine the job opportunity or project opportunity that absolutely has your name on it. In other words, if you applied for this job or this project, you feel like you would be in the top 1% because, you know, no one else has what you have that brings to the table. Now, look, we all like to think that that is true for many projects and many jobs, but we know in our heart that there are some jobs and some projects which just really speak to who we are as professionals and really speak to our experience and really speak to what we've done. And it's a little, you know, this is a little tricky because in some instances, there may be jobs that have your name on it that you don't necessarily think you'd love to do, but you know that if you applied for it, you'd get it. So we've just done the exercise of the projects you love the most. Now this is the project where the market loves you the most for this project or this job opportunity. So just write down the job opportunity or the project, which if it were there, you probably get it. Is that clear?
Sorry, it's not actually clear to me. So we're saying
what do you do in the, just remind us all what you do in the business.
I'm a producer, mainly
what?
produce scripted and doing some factual documentary stuff.
Okay, so what is the documentary project or unscripted project which, if it was out there looking for a producer and you applied, you'd get it? So
just a completely made up one, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a generic title. Like, so is it shows about dogs, about cats, about cooking, about Aborigine people, whatever it is, write that down because the market knows that you could make that based on your experience.
Great, lovely. Thank you.
And there might be a couple of those, right? It does, you know, it's not that it's just one job or one project that has your name on it, but there might be a couple of projects quite specific, which if they were out there, you'd probably get it just because who the hell speaks French and Turkish and Greek and loves cats? So if there was a project that was, required someone who spoke Turkish and Greek and knowledge of cats, you'd get it.
Remy, I'm just going to dive in.
Yeah.
I'll be totally honest and say I'm totally struggling with this. Reason why I'm struggling is because obviously I'm in a place of pivot at the moment because my area is dying down as such. So I think what I would be called upon as a specialism, I wouldn't necessarily be called upon anymore. So I need this session because I'm having to peel it back and really understand what my niche is moving forward. So I'm slightly struggling with this bit. I don't know.
What's your remind us what your niche has been?
So I'm in impact and inclusion, so the DEI space.
I get it.
Sam's put Serena the writer. Sam knows me very well.
No,
But originally my heart is in writing and has been for the longest time, and I haven't been brave enough to do it. So Sam, thank you for outing me like that.
okay. And by the
And
way,
Daryl.
someone else in your space who you should reach out to if you haven't already, Michelle Matheson, because she's in the DEI space and she's pivoted to writing and she's doing more creative writing all the
Oh
time. So
wow. She's
yeah,
my old teammate. She didn't tell me that. I'm gonna have to have words.
yeah, she's on the board of a theater. She's been writing scripts. So yeah, definitely reach out to her.
Nice.
But there may be projects that you've actually worked on that have some heart, some values at their core, which were what excited you and what which don't exist only in the space. So this exercise is about figuring out what's the thing you love most and do best, right? And we're starting with projects because that's a good sense of it. But you may have worked on a project in the DEI space which actually was brought something else to the fore that you love doing. Maybe so just look at what it was and in this exercise just look at maybe what are your lived experiences, what are your skills, what's your knowledge that if there was a role there would have your name on it. And if it's helpful, just think outside of the DEI space, because if they're not roles in that area, within a corporate structure, within a communication structure, what are the things that you have evidence of being able to do and understand and know about?
I think that's really powerful, Remy, because I can see, like Sarah was saying, she's in a place of pivoting as well. But leaning into what you love most and do best, just for this minute, just suspend everything else. Forget about what you do as a day job and what you don't do and the industry collapsing it. Forget it. What do you love most? And do best. Simple question. Don't be frightened. Put it on paper.
You're going to have time to workshop this in pairs in a very short time, but it's good to have done some of this heavy lifting on your own in this group space. There's one more question that I'd like you to ask just to help triangulate this process for you, and that's, of everything that you've worked on and done in TV and out of TV, what do you feel you'd like to use as the calling card for what you love most and do best? So if there's one project that you could use to show off you, Sam, or you as an individual, what would that project be and why? So, generally people look at all of your experience and all of your credits and all of your jobs. But if you could just pick one that says, this is me, this project, maybe it was the Brontes for you. But pick out the project that you'd like to have be your calling card.
The project, and nobody's going to be surprised to hear this, is Black people in sports broadcasting, because that is my heart, that is my passion. I love sports.
And you worked on that.
Specific, it's a thing that I'm working on now. It's a thing that I feel is going to save me from the pits of hell that this industry has put me in. It's at the heart of me. It's part of the grassroots of me. It's the mother in me. It's the friend. It's everything. So yeah.
So, I mean, first of all, wow, right? And secondly, we're all quite jealous because you're doing the thing right now that is your calling card, and that's like, wow, that's great. So to be doing the thing right now that you'd like to be the calling card because it represents who you are and what you're about and what you love, if you want, you can leave this session. You can check out. You don't need to stay
Oh
for the
no,
rest of this.
I still need you.
But I'm kind of teasing, but like that's what it's all about, right? Because do you feel like while everyone's just working on that challenge, do you feel like there was any part of you being clear about what you loved and did best that got you this job?
Well, to be clear, it's not even a job yet. It's something. It's a vision I had that I set up along with Sammy, who's another one of our leaders. Like
Okay,
he works in sports. I love sports,
got it.
but it's a place where I feel like there is a need. There is something that we can do, and it's a way of collective support. And it's something I'm not going to give up on. It. I feel like everything I've done to this date has led me to this point, and this is where I need to be as a career point in this industry.
Beautiful. So I'd just like to ask the whole room, does anyone already know, maybe you even came to this session knowing it, what your specialty niche is, what the thing is that you do best in the world, what you offer the market? Does anybody know already? Did they come to this meeting? No, I have a feeling one of you has a sense already. And if you do, just share it with us. Okay, Henrietta, please.
Hello. The
Hello.
risk is it's always cringe because if you're saying, "Oh yeah, I'm really good at this," it's all it's not very British of
Oh,
me.
well,
But
first of all, we'll be on that in this space. And secondly, I'm not sure I really want to be very British in this context. And second,
yeah, that's
and
true.
and
That's
and
true.
go for it.
So I would say that my specialty is so I'm a development producer, and I've recently directed my first project, and I think that my specialty is bringing a creative vision to development. So whether that's through decks or through I'm often like called in to do the director's vision before the director's on board because a lot of directors don't care about the project until it's commissioned. So that's usually kind of what I'm brought into for development or the projects that I work on is kind of once the access and stuff is there, I'm kind of doing the creative approach.
Okay, so you have slightly jumped the gun and anticipated the next part of the session, which is about your superpower. I would say your superpower is you're a creative visionary, right?
Yeah, okay.
And that's your superpower. So that's great. So that's her superpower, and that's what I want to get to when we do the next part. But your niche is what? What's the area in which you love working and thrive? What's the because you could be a creative visionary in marketing or advertising or sports or documentaries or
So for
where do you have the most experience and evidence of your ability to be a creative visionary? What kind of programming?
for premium limited series, usually trying to get away from true crime, but usually true crime
True. Yeah.
or the genre of entertaining documentary, which just means a kooky way of telling a dark story, effectively.
So, I mean, I totally love that, right? Because if your profile or CV said, I find kooky ways of telling dark stories, that connects. That connects with
Yeah.
that connects with the market. So thank you for sharing because you've done two bits of heavy lifting for me. One, you've explained for everyone what a superpower sounds like. I'm a creative visionary. And you've also helped us define what a niche positioning statement sounds like, which is I find kooky ways of telling dark stories. So with that in mind, I would love you all to be paired off into pairs for 20 minutes.
Remy, before we do
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
we've got a couple of hands up. So Shan
Okay.
Shan's got a hand up, and oh, somebody else had their hand up that disappeared. Shan, do you want to go? I think it was Sarah had her hand up.
I have a quick question
Yep.
regarding niche. How do we say this is my niche, or people just pigeonhole you because you just do it very well, better than
So,
everyone else?
so pigeonholing is what someone else does to you.
Hmm.
Yeah. Saying what you love best and love most and do best is your job. So if I pigeonhole you in what you love most and do best, that's not really pigeonholing, that's playing to your strengths. but unless I know what your strengths are, I might pigeonhole you into something else. So we just had a great example of someone who was like, I probably, the market would probably say I do true crime, but I don't really want to do true crime. But what I really do best is finding kooky ways of telling dark stories. So this opportunity is for you to tell the market what you love most and do best, so that hopefully they do pigeonhole you into doing that because you love it and you do it well.
Remy,
Yes.
can I say something? Sorry, my video's off. I didn't realize. Can I say something? Because I know that is a real concern for us as people of color, isn't it? The kind of often being pigeonholed, and being told what you're good at and what you can and can't do. And I think that this is so powerful. Like Remy's just said, there's the opportunity for you to create your own box rather than being put in a box and saying really clearly, this is what I do. This is how I do it. So I know that there is a fear, because we've done this exercise a few times. There's always a fear about people thinking, oh my God, I don't want to be pigeonholed. And we spent most of our careers being pigeonholed, right? Saying that we can only do this and we can't do that and we can do this. So this is a real opportunity for us to define ourselves rather than letting people define us, which I think is really, really powerful. And Sarah's got a question as well. But yeah, isn't that right, Remy? This is about us defining who we are.
100%, 100%. It's about what's telling everyone else, I know what I do best. I know what I love most. Give me that. Give me that. Because I love it and I'll do it well. So I may not want to do true crime, which I'm pigeonholed into doing, but I love finding kooky ways of telling dark stories. So give me that in the broadest sense. One more question, and then I'd love you to workshop these. So go ahead. Whoever, Sarah, you go.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I think you've started to answer it really, and I think I might just need to spend some time workshopping it in pairs. So I'll come back to you if
Okay,
I don't
beautiful.
crack it on the way.
So when you get paired off into your pairs by Lily in a second, your job is to give each person 10 minutes. So make sure one of you has a watch set, and 10 minutes for the first person and 10 minutes for the second person. And the person who's listening, your job is just to say, is that clear? Does that speak to the market? Because it needs to be really clear and gettable. And if you're in a different space, then that's a great place to sit as the partner, because you can go, I'm not really sure I understand that. What really is that? How does that actually work? So finding kooky ways to tell dark stories, I get what that is. That sounds what the market wants. It needs to be quite specific, but it also needs to speak to what you love most and do best. So your job as a partner is to make sure that your partner comes away from this 20-minute session, of which they will have 10 and you will have 10, that they come away from that 10 minutes with you very clear about something that they can tell the market that they love most and do best.
Remy,
Yes.
can I just jump in as well? Can I just say, do you think it's a good idea for a minute? I know that the kind of talking to the market trends is really important and what works for the market, but maybe leaning more into what you love most and do best. So we don't want you to get too stuck, too worried about that, because I can imagine your brains are going about stereotyping and pigeonholing and all that kind of good stuff. For a minute, just suspend that and just have a little bit of fun. Just enjoy the exercise of what do I do best, what do I do best, and how would I manage to sell that to the market, and then we'll find a way, but not to get too worried about that. Just have what I'm saying is enjoy it. Enjoy the experience and not get too worried about, oh my God, does the market want it, not want it? Does that sound right? I don't want to pigeonhole, and all the noise that we have along that, and just enjoy the freedom of saying, oh my God, I really love this and I would love to do this. And how would that make
100%, 100%. Have it be about what you love most and do best. And have that thing that you love most and do best be really clear to your partner. So it's gettable. Yeah, I get that. That's clear. Great. So give me a big wave if you have a specialty niche that you are ready to share with the room. It doesn't have to be perfect. I see Ellie waving.
That was so quick and you caught me.
I loved it. Yeah, I see little movement.
That was really tougher than I thought it would be, by the way, guys. But
and yet you did it.
We got there.
What's your specialty?
It's not quite as short and snappy as Henry's, but I've got elevating and empowering people to discover new sides of themselves through captivating emotional and visual storytelling.
See, I'm wondering whether that's not your superpower.
Oh, okay.
Or the start of your superpower. Because it's elevating people through storytelling.
But this is why I was confused, because I
Yeah.
was like,
It's hard.
are
You
we
know
meant
what?
to be talking about ourselves and our personality powers, or in relation to our work?
Well, this was about your specialty niche. So to give you an example, I hope Simone doesn't mind me using her as an example, but like Simone's specialty niche might be creating communities for people of color that are dynamic and creative in TV.
Ba,
So
ba,
her,
like that.
So is that different to what I've written then?
but her superpower
Oh,
is connecting people. So her
okay.
superpower is connecting people, but her niche is dynamic creative communities of color in TV. Right?
So I've done my niche rather than my superpower.
No, you did it the other way around. You've done
I've
your
done my...
superpower and we're meant to be doing your niche. But don't worry, that means the next half hour will be super easy.
Okay.
Your superpower is around what you just said. That's just
What if I've got more than one superpower, Remy? This is
well, you're allowed a couple, but we need to headline with one. Who has a specialty niche in the same way that like my specialty niche is working with creative founders and leaders in film and TV as a coach. Simone's is around creating dynamic communities of color in TV. Who has a niche? Who has a niche? Who actually came out of this with a niche? Wave your hand if you have a niche. Or you think you have a niche. Yes, Tara. Tara.
Hi.
Hi.
So in Sammy's words, polishing a turd and having the chat, but really what that translates as is like crafting creative narratives
And yet,
and interviewing.
Okay, and this is all good because it's part of the same exercise, polishing a turd and creating a narrative. That's your superpower. The niche is what the turd is and what the narrative is. The superpower is polishing turds into narratives. That's the superpower. But the niche is about the specialty in which it occurs. So like we said, like Simone's superpower is connecting people. That for you would be polishing a turd, in your case. But the space in which she does it is around people of color in TV and film. So what area do you thrive in? What's your habitat? Where do you polish turds into creative narratives?
Documentaries about sensitive subjects, people with disabilities, criminal justice system.
Sensitive documentaries.
Sensitive documentaries.
That's your niche.
Yeah.
That's your niche. Thank you for helping us get closer to the mission here. So Tara's niche is sensitive documentaries. And her superpower, which we're going to come on to in a minute, is polishing turds into creative stories. In a way, our superpower is the thing that we could take out of the industry and do it anywhere. You could polish turds into creative narratives anywhere. You could do it for marketing, you could do it for branding, you could do it for sport, you could do it for, it doesn't have to be specialty, it doesn't have to be sensitive documentaries, but sensitive documentaries is your specialty niche. And we're much better off hiring Tara to do this thing that she does well in the area of specialty sensitive documentaries than in sports or entertainment or drama, because that's not really where her experience is. Where she's really experienced, what she does best is polishing turds in the world of sensitive documentaries. Who else? This may be an ongoing process for us, but like, okay, I see Sarah waving. And Sarah, you had your hand up before, but we didn't come to you because you wanted to work on the workshop. What did you come away from the workshop with, Sarah?
So I came away with where I'm not now, which is something I do love. I just happen to have recently found something that I really, really love. Beautiful. So we're just going to start with where I'm at because it's a bit too fresh.
Great.
So working with specialists in gaming technologies to tell factual stories in innovative ways.
Okay, and would you say your superpower is telling stories in innovative? I can't even say it. Would you say your superpower is telling stories in innovative ways?
Potentially, it could also just be I really enjoy working with specialists from different niches and applying their skills to whatever genre I'm working within.
Okay, but the genre you're in, your specialty niche is gaming technologies.
I don't know.
Say the whole thing again.
Working with specialists in gaming technologies to tell factual stories in innovative ways.
Great, great, great. It feels like there's a little bit, just a little bit more work to do to just refine what the niche is, but it feels like it's it's almost there. And maybe if the test is, if I were in gaming technologies, would I get what would I get what you're offering? Would I get what you're bringing to the table? I feel like I'm almost a little bit clearer about what your superpower is than I am on what the niche is, but they're both in there. They're both in there. It's the superpower is what I bring to the table that no one else really brings in quite the same way. If there were 5 people to do this thing, my superpower would be this. So Simone's superpower is connecting people. Lily's superpower is making stuff happen, making things a reality. Your superpower is creating stories, creating complex stories in the factual space.
I'm not sure.
No, it is around storytelling, definitely. And the space that you're in, which is an exciting space, which is kind of bridging the gap between new technologies and traditional storytelling. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That feels like maybe that's the niche. The niche is the space between new technology and heritage media, or new technology and legacy storytelling. I don't know how we want to articulate it, but
I like that because it allows it to go both ways, which is also allowing me to get more work at the moment.
Great.
It's that I
Great.
can step into the academic funding world or into the broadcast world. I can go both
Great.
ways.
So that's your niche. And your superpower is in your ability to tell stories. Because the superpower is something you bring to any table. Like Lily could make stuff happen in any space. It doesn't have to be this space. But the niche she's in is Simone's niche of creating dynamic communities, people of color in TV. So your niche is that these communities, bringing these communities together, or finding ways to communicate between them. Who else would like some workshopping with where they're at? Subid.
Hi. My chat was really useful. I think it made me realize something I hadn't quite figured out before, although it feels obvious now. I think the niche I'm leaning towards is specializing in travel and social impact stories, kind of making foreign and complex ideas accessible and emotive.
Both of those things are good. So travel and social impact stories. And then the second part of it was
making foreign or complex ideas accessible and emotive.
So I kind of love that too. Making complex foreign stories emotive.
That's better.
And relatable. Making complex foreign stories emotive and relatable. So that is like, I have a hot point gas boiler that needs repair, right? That is a specific. If I come to the market with, I've got a complex foreign story and I need to make it relatable. You're now saying you can do that. I want you. Does that make sense? When you tell the market what you love most and do best, you have a chance of getting that work. It's not guaranteed, but you're a lot more likely to get it than if you say I fix kitchen appliances, because I'm not trusting my hot point gas boiler to someone who says I love kitchen appliances. But I definitely will trust a project which involves complex foreign stories to someone who says that's what they love doing and do best. So that feels great. Because we're segueing next into your superpower, what do you bring to the table? So the area that you love working in, your specialty niche, is making complex foreign stories relatable. What's your superpower, would you say, in that process? What do you bring to the table that other people don't bring quite as much of?
I tried to write that down. Making something, I guess, creatively or cinematically elevated with limited resources or limited time.
Yeah, yeah. Um, you're a visual storyteller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, some version of that. Like maybe I'm being reductive, but it feels like your superpower is in visual storytelling, which you could do for anyone who needs a story told visually, especially if it's low budget because you've got experience with that. But the niche that you have specialty expertise in is in travel and social impact and making complex foreign stories relatable. Beautiful. Thank you.
It's really helpful. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Who else wants to undergo the Michelle? Yeah. What is your niche or superpower? Any order? Everyone seems to be preempting the second part of the exercise, which is kind of great because we're running out of time. So this is going to be great. We can do both in one go. So
okay, so I'm not entirely sure, which is why I wanted to jump on here. Andrea and I were chatting. We spent a lot of time with just getting to where we got to with Andrea. So I haven't had much time to really think this through. But this whole chat this morning has really helped me actually identify something that I hadn't considered previously. So when you asked us about coming up with 3 projects that we'd previously done, I've noticed that all 3 projects, the Paralympics, Going Cold Turkey, which was about addiction, and Seven Dwarfs, about 7 little people, they all have communities that are lesser known.
yeah.
They're old shows now, but at the time, all of those projects, Paralympics in 2012, people didn't know really what that was and didn't really understand Paralympians, didn't understand disability in the way we do now. So I feel that with the things that I feel I know about myself and the things that I bring to the party as an exec, is that as an exec producer, I think I possess an emotional intelligence which allows me to understand better lesser known people and communities within a factual space, which I don't think many other people who are execs have that. So that's sort of, I feel that stands me apart.
100%.
I don't know if that's my superpower or my niche or
No. That's your superpower. Your superpower is your emotional understanding, your emotional connection, your emotional intelligence. And we can find a way to package that up so that it sounds more like you and not like multiple people. But the thing about our superpowers is when we have it, we don't think anything of it because we've been doing it since we were 4 years old, right? If you've been organizing since you were, I don't know, how old, Lily? Are you there? How old have you been making things happen for
Hello.
other people for?
Probably since I was about 4 and I organized somebody else's birthday party.
Gosh, so really late then.
Yeah, really late, yeah.
Yeah. So when we have a superpower, we've been kind of doing it since we were 4. You've been emotionally intelligent since you were what? How old, Michelle? Have you
I don't
been?
know, but I going back probably to 4 when I was school friends with people who I'm still friends with since that age.
Right. And so because you've been doing it since you were 4, Michelle, 4, Lily, you don't think it's anything special. It's like, oh, I just make things happen and I just organize and I just emotionally into it. But that is a superpower. To other people who don't have it, that's a superpower. Tell the world what it is that you do best. It may not be what you would have chosen if you'd been born into another family or another time, but you are emotionally intelligent. So that's your superpower. And find a way to package it up so that it's gettable. But your niche is around bringing underrepresented communities to a mainstream audience, around creating mainstream entertainment from underrepresented stories and voices and communities. Because, we all know that the Paralympics is big entertainment, right? And Seven Dwarfs sounds very commercial, right? So you have experience in bringing underrepresented, minoritized stories to big global audiences or big UK audiences. I don't know what the case was for those shows. Taking something underrepresented and making it represented in a way that is commercial. Finding a way to package that's your niche. That's your specialty niche. But your superpower is absolutely around your ability to connect emotionally to the subject. And there's a lot of talk about, intellectual engagement with the subject matter. Emotional engagement with the subject matter is super important. And to all those folk who understand how to connect intellectually, very often what they don't understand is how to connect emotionally. Michelle can do that. What's kind of interesting, I feel like, just within the context of this conversation and this group right now, is that I am now getting to see each of you in a much clearer, more gettable way, right? I've had chats with Michelle before. I didn't know that that was her superpower and that's her niche. And although I'm just one person, I'm able to better share Michelle and others because of what you say you love most and do best. And if that's true of me, I'm sure it's true of each of you, right? If you're looking for somebody you now know within this group a little bit more. So we kind of owe it to ourselves to say clearly what we love most and do best. And what's so interesting is how the superpower, which is the thing that you could take to any industry and export it, is so aligned to the specialty niche, which is the thing that you do best within this industry. Although, you know, arguably, there are other ways to communicate underrepresented communities to a mainstream audience, but probably TV and film is the best way to do that. So that feels like that is a niche, but her superpower is emotional intelligence. Who wants to go next to just share where you're at? Wherever you're at is fine. And so far we've had some clarity, but you don't have to be so clear. If you're not clear, that's fine too. Yes.
Hi, Remy. Hi.
Hi, Fatu. Where are you at?
Oh, I'm Andrea.
Oh, Andrea, you go first.
Oh no, Fatu, you do. You go. Sorry, I didn't see you there.
I'm here. Hi, Remy. So
hi.
As we were going through this, I remember the first time I met you on this leaders program, and I said to you, what I do is niche. So you're kind of coming back to me.
I say that's terrible. I know I didn't say that.
And no, you just kind of talking about, well, what we could do is help you kind of like harness that. And I've still been trying to figure that out. So what I do is
share with the group what your niche is.
Compliance.
Yeah. But it's more niche than just compliance, because compliance could be for General Motors or Coca-Cola. But
yes.
Yeah.
So I say that I help producers achieve their creative ambitions creatively through creative problem solving, kind of operating in the grey area. But just going through this exercise.
But just wait a second, because that didn't. If I'm a producer struggling with compliance issues, you didn't tell me that you solved my compliance issues. So tell me how explain your specialty niche in a proud, unashamed way, because it's not really. I mean, I'm sure it's very creative, but when you say creative to producers, they think you're going to come and help them with the editorial, and you're coming to help them with the compliance. So share it in a way that.
So what I do is creative problem solving. So I can
around complex compliance issues.
Yeah, around complex compliance issues. So I will.
So are you happy for now? That's the placeholder for Fatu's niche. I created problem solver around complex compliance issues for producers in TV. Yeah.
So it's more of the forward thinking and kind of preempting what can be compliance issue for a producer and helping them navigate that before we get to that space.
So I make sure producers don't have compliance issues.
Yeah.
That's your niche.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw that land on Fatu. I saw that land. She's like, it's very clever, isn't it? They just went with me. They don't have issues. That's why they work with me, because they don't want to have issues.
Yeah.
That's quite powerful, isn't it? I saw that land. I just saw your face. Take that. Sorry, I had to jump on because your face.
I appreciate that.
It was just wonderful. That face.
It's something I've been kind of like trying to distill for the past few months and trying to get it down to something snappy.
I solve producers' compliance issues before they have them.
Yeah.
That was similar to what we said in the room, wasn't it, Fatu? Something like
that. Yeah.
Solve problems before they happen.
Great. So you're there with a niche. And what would you say your superpower is? The thing that makes you good at that, the thing that sits above that, the thing that actually has nothing really to do with TV, but you could do it anywhere. What's Fatu's superpower?
I guess it's the forward thinking. It's having the
Strategic
broader,
thinker. Yeah.
yeah, and just having an eye on what's happening around us.
I totally get it, and I haven't figured the way to say it that is a
Yeah,
superpower, but it's like um seeing the road ahead. It's being it's having a
it's like
plan.
horizon scanning.
I scan the horizon. So I love that, right? As a superpower, I love that. I love that. I scan the horizon. That's your superpower. I'm intrigued, even if I don't know what it is, I'm intrigued. I want to know more. And your specialty niche is working with producers on complex compliance issues before they happen.
Yeah.
Result.
Thank you.
Who else wants to have a result? We've got time for maybe 6 more results. Because I I can't emphasize this enough. Being really clear about what you do best and love most, being really clear about what your superpower is, being really clear about what your specialty niche is, just helps everyone else. Why should I spend hours trying to figure out what Fatu loves most and does best? Why can't she just tell me? Then I can help her. Then, if I know someone who's a producer who's got compliance issues, I can introduce them. And if I know someone else in another space who just wants some strategic help with plotting the road ahead because they can't see the horizon, they're detail oriented, they can't see the bigger picture, I can also introduce her. And this is how life works. One of my superpowers, and we are allowed more than one, is connecting people. But to connect people, I need to know what they love most and do best. Otherwise, I'm connecting the wrong people for the wrong reasons. Fatu scans the horizon. That's her superpower. What a superpower. And what she happens to have a lot of experience in is supporting producers in avoiding problems compliance-wise before they have them. Again, we all know someone who needs Fatu, but we didn't before she said that because we didn't understand what she did. Next, who's next? Wave your hand and I'll pick you. Yes.
Sorry, and Serena, are you ready to do it as well?
I think Simone's having fun with someone who she knows isn't ready. Simone, you pick whoever's next. I can't do it.
No, I'm not going to pick Serena because she's like, no, don't do it to me. No, whoever wants to jump on next, I'm not going to pick it.
Shan wanted to jump in next, but she's muted at the moment.
Thank you. Do I list my superpowers now or niche first?
You can do anything you want. You can tell us what you had for breakfast if you like.
Okay, so we workshop a little bit with Seb. This is what he summarized for me. I'm gonna say this. So crafting aesthetically beautiful documentaries with an investigative or journalistic angle. And also I can shoot and bridge two cultures.
Yes.
And also this part is for me, is accessing original stories from Global South, usually about underrepresented communities. Yeah, okay.
Beautifully crafting original complex documentaries. That feels like the basis of a great niche positioning statement. I know it has a little of your superpower in it, or a superpower, because it's beautifully crafting, but the waters in which Shan Shan swims are complex, difficult, original, sensitive documentaries.
Yeah.
And being clear about that is helpful, because now if someone on this team here in this room right now hears of a complex, difficult, original documentary, they might think of you. They might think of you. Whether or not it needs to be shot beautifully or not. It's like, oh, that's what Shan Shan does. Maybe there's one other person in this call who also does that, but this is a specialist group in the first place. But in the marketplace, working on complex, original, global documentaries, it's a niche which we need more of. So saying to the world that this is what I know how to do and do best is powerful. And your superpower, is it around making things beautiful? Is it around the filming? what would you say is the thing that you bring to the table, even if the table isn't documentary filmmaking, but is maybe another industry or another arena, or even just, being at home? What's the thing that people say Shan Shan does better than anyone?
I have very good taste.
Own it. Own it. Own it. I mean, listen, we're all dying to see around your living room. We wish you'd take the blur off. We want to see that taste, but for now, we'll believe it. Right. Very good taste. You're a taste maker. You make things beautiful.
Yeah.
There's a way to say that which articulates your superpower, where you feel like, yeah, that's me. That's me. And the people who know you feel like, yeah, that's Shan Shan.
Can I just jump in as well? Because I think like everybody seems to have one of their niches seems to be telling underrepresented stories, which obviously, because of who we are, that feels like it has to kind of go beyond. It's like all of us can do that, but like Shan Shan says, I'm a tastemaker, man. I like beautiful things, and really owning that it's that thing that takes it to the next level. Because we all tell stories from underrepresented communities, because that's why most of us do this work, right? But what makes your storytelling about those communities different, I think, is the kind of next level. Is that right, Rems? Kind of taking it a little. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, but what was interesting, is that everyone has their specialty take on it, and I feel like the important thing is to be true to what you love and do best. Because, like you said, this is a self-defining group, but that doesn't mean that we don't have a value in a different context. Like in another group, Shan Shan will be the only person who has that expertise.
Yeah, fair.
And so being clear that she does that is important, right? Because and that's the whole point of Breakthrough Leaders, isn't it? That actually in most spaces, we are each the only person with that lived experience.
Mm.
And so sharing it is powerful and important. Doesn't mean that Andrea can't tell stories about mainstream communities and make them popular.
Of course.
I mean, that's easy. That's easy. But she has experience in telling stories about minoritized communities that resonate with mainstream audiences. That is a specialty niche which has a place in the market. And if she's not owning it, no one else will give it to her.
No, I just thought that was important. And I noticed Daryl would like to have a go. I know we've got a little bit of time. You got one time to just one more before you.
Yes, Daryl, go for it.
Daryl, you still here?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So basically, I thought someone else was going to go first. So I'm 1 minute away from my house. But yeah. So if there's any chance someone else could go just before, then I could go at the end. Or yeah, because I had to pop out, but I'm going to be back in my house in about 45 seconds with my notepad. So unless you can hold on whilst I jug.
Latoya's got her hand up. Latoya's got her hand up. So maybe we do.
Thank you.
Andrea had her hand up earlier.
Sorry, who did?
Andrea had her hand up quite a lot.
Sorry,
earlier.
Andrea, because you popped on screen as well. Sorry, Remy, you've got like loads of them to do.
I don't mean to out you, Andrea. I just saw your hand up for a while earlier.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm not great at these things anyway, but Remy, I do have quite a few superpowers that I'm aware of. And when I read your overview for today, I felt quite good about that. I was like, ooh.
You maybe have too many. You're allowed 3, I think. You're allowed 3.
I think I have emotional intelligence and resilience because of my background, my childhood, being a single mum. And I have a lot of compassion and understanding. And I could be thrown into a room with people from all different walks of life, and it wouldn't faze me. I mean, I used to look after celebrities at TFIs back in the day, and I had the best time ever. I used to go out with them and so I just feel like I have the ability. Of course, I get nervous in certain situations, but I just feel that I don't have a niche at all. And so this has been quite confusing for me Fatu has a niche. There's no doubt about it. It's incredible. But I just don't have that because I've worked on so many different projects and subject matters and genres, probably, which was my downfall because I've done a bit of everything. So yeah, I don't really have a niche, Remy.
Well, you may not have had one up until now, but you can still pick one. And you can say, this is what I love most and do best. And we listen to that. Like you may say the evidence doesn't support that because you've done lots of things, but if you tell us this is what I love most and do best, we'll believe you, because we actually think Andrea probably knows herself better than I do. So if she's saying it's like anything, like literally anything. You could say I cook lots of things well. I'm a good cook. I cook lots of things well. But if you're coming to a picnic, you need to say what you're going to bring. And if you say, I'm going to bring the apple cobbler because that's what I make best, I'll believe you. I'm not going to say, oh, no, you probably don't. I'll go, yeah, bring the apple cobbler. It's a little bit like this. What you're bringing to the party, we believe you. If you tell us this is what you love most, I believe you. I believe you. And if you say, of all the things I do this the best, we'll believe you. So it's just about picking it and saying it.
Yeah.
As always, I hate 2 o'clock because it's an abrupt sign off and I hate saying goodbye, and I could actually spend another hour with you on this. And there may be some more workshopping to do. But I apologize. I schedule from 12:30 till 2, and at 2 o'clock I have to go. So I'm going to leave you in the room. If Simone or Lily can hold that space, I'm always grateful. But I hope it's been a useful session to the extent that we've been able to get where we've got. And this is a work in progress. This is a work in progress. But sharing with everyone and each other what we are here to do is a useful part of self-care.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Remy. We'll see you next week. We may even continue this, not next week, sorry, next session, and we may even continue this because it feels like we might need a little bit more time on this, but really good, important stuff. Thank you so much, Remy.
I look forward to it.